Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to do mirror art using acrylic paint, and I'm going to be painting a scene that's inspired by the opening credits of the movie Ponyo. So the first thing you are going to need is just a basic mirror. Right now I'm using an unframed mirror that I got from Michael's for just a couple of dollars, but you can get them at most craft stores. So the first step is you're going to want to sketch out your design. If you're really confident in freehanding, you can just start priming, but for me I like to draw it out real quick, and I'm just doing the basic outline of my design. And for this I'm using a medium tipped chalk marker. These are really great because it's the same color as your primer, and it also wipes off really easily from the mirror, so if you make a mistake you can just wipe it off real fast and then continue drawing. Once you've drawn out your design, the next step is to prime the area that you are going to be painting. So acrylic paint is not really made to go on glass, so you're going to want to prime it with something that the paint can really grab onto. So for this, I'm using a basic white acrylic gesso. It is the Artist Loft brand, which is really affordable. I got this whole tub for about $10. And you're just going to want to paint over the area that you plan on painting on. You don't have to be super neat with it just because it's going underneath your paint, but what I did was try to put all my brush strokes in a similar direction, because sometimes if you don't have thicker acrylic paint you can still see those brush strokes a little bit unless you decide to do several layers of paint. So I'm just going to prime my whole area. So the cool thing about this gesso is it dries really fast and you really only have to do one layer of it. So once that's done you can move on to your next step, which is the actual painting. So I personally use 3 brands of acrylic paint the most. The first one being Master's Touch, which you can get at Hobby Lobby. The second is Artist Loft, same brand as the gesso. And then the third one that I use the most is Winsor & Newton, which is my personal favorite brand. This one I would consider a high-grade paint. It's gonna cost you a little bit more, but it's really worth it. It's a lot thicker, it blends really well, and this one you can get at both Hobby Lobby and Michael's. So you don't need to go out and buy a really expensive brush to do this project. I would stay away from something like this that is really coarse and bristly and has what I call brush split ends, because it's not going to give you a very smooth finish, and that's what you want, especially when you're painting on glass. So I would stick to something like this that has either a round tip or flat tip, something nice and tailored. Something like this is going to give you really smooth lines, and that's what you want when you're working on mirrors. So here is what it looks like after I have my first coat of paint on. It's going to take about 3 coats if you want it to look really smooth, so that's what I'm going to do. Here is fast forward to 3 coats later. As you can see, you can't really see my brush strokes anymore, you can't see any of that white primer coming through the back. And then if we fast forward again, here's what it looks like after I have added on my detail lines. I just use a small liner brush to do the black lines. And the little houses on the hill also has about 3 coats of paint as well. And so this is my finished product. I hope you learned something new. Please feel free to ask me any questions in the comments or leave suggestions for future projects. Thanks a lot!